I want to really focus on one thing and one thing only. And that is, how do we as the conference events industry really use this opportunity not only to do something temporary, but to create a whole new experience and to engage more deeply with our audiences. So I'm going to take you back to 2012 very quickly, when I was studying my master's research in virtual coaching. And the question that I asked then, and I think it's a question that's really relevant now, is it possible to have a as good or even better engagement experience in the online space than it is face-to-face? Because the assumption has always been that face-to-face is good, virtual is a poor substitute. Now, I was having a chat to one of our global speakers, Bob Roblatz, the other night, and he raised something that really stuck with me. He said, we've been talking about disrupting the industry for a long time. We have the choice to say, is this time going to be a time where we disrupt, or is this simply going to be an interruption? Is this an interruption or a disruption? An interruption is, we're going to make it happen until the end of lockdown and we're going to go back to business as usual. A disruption is that we have the opportunity now to completely reimagine the industry and reimagine the level of engagement that we can have with our audience. So I want to reframe a couple of the stories that Michael and I particularly, and I've been working with Justin and some of our other really great speakers that we have in the stable for the last 3 years, in terms of bringing a deeper level of engagement and audience participation into the conference space. And I also want to give you 3 keys. Sorry, Justin, I love your 3 keys, so I'm stealing it. All right, so the 3 keys that we're going to be working on this morning is going to be also 3 P's. I don't know, we always love the C's and the P's seem to be winning in the alphabet. So the 3 P's are preparation, partnership, and participation. Those are the 3 that I want us to be looking at. And what I found from my research and what I'm really seeing now, can I ask you to put up the FIA slide, please? So a process that we've been working on for the conference industry overall has been looking at the communication and engagement process in the events industry, not only on the day, as in how do we use our conference app, but actually the communication process that goes through the whole relationship engagement with the client, both before, during, and after. And the big thing that came up in my research was that the before stage in virtual is exponentially more important. If I told you the level of preparation that went into this call to have the seamless moving in, and Pam, I just want to say you have done an absolutely fabulous job as a conference producer. It's been a seamless experience. We haven't had coming on and saying, oh, sorry, which button do I have to push now? Where are we? Which is so much part of the Zoom calls, or my sound's not working. Oh, so look at the bottom microphone. It's down the bottom left-hand side of your corner. The amount of preparation and the big difference is not only for the conference professionals. This is not only briefing the speaker. It's not only briefing all of the MC and all of the participants in the conference. The big difference about virtual is that you have to prepare your audience. So we need to be sending out guidelines to our audience in terms of their broadband, about how do they connect, how do they work with all of this information. Michael mentioned Zoom as having security concerns. Now, before everybody says, oh, should I be on this call? Should I be rushing off this call? No, you don't have to do that. All right, so I had a lovely conversation with the cybersecurity expert in Canada the other day where we were talking about this, and it really is the level of security. So don't have a cabinet meeting if you've got cybersecurity issues, but certainly as an engagement space, it has all of the cybersecurity you need to be able to do it well. All right, there's a conversation that's going on between corporate and the rest of the world in terms of what platforms are okay, and it's got a lot more to do with the use of personal data and where that data is stored. So just be aware of that. As conference professionals, you no longer have the luxury of not worrying about things like antivirus and personal information and all of those things that happen. So preparation is important. The next one is partnership. we need to be aware that one of the things in our leadership through communication process is that we need to focus in on what we're good at. We're good at creating events. We're good at creating experiences. Don't try and do it all yourself. Reach out to your AV partners. I've been speaking to people around the world where you can still do table discussions, breakaways, all sorts of lovely networking engagement tools that you can use to be able to get the engagement that you are looking for. A lovely example that I wanted to share with you is that through lockdown, what can we do in lockdown? I've been working over the Easter weekend. I spent most of the Easter weekend working. And the reason what we did for that was because we had one of our inspirational speakers, Richard Wright, giving a wonderful 10 series video talk to the company, direct, personally engaged with the company's team. I spent the whole weekend creating engagement and conversation around that so that people can now connect to what it means to them. I've been looking at some of your comments, and you're saying, how can I prepare more effectively? What do we need to put in place? The minute we hear a message, we're asking, what does it mean for us? So the virtual environment allows us to do two things. First of all, it allows us to be able to connect with each other. It allows us to be able to have a conversation and to listen more effectively and to allow our audience to speak to us at a deeper level. And this is where the role of the conference facilitator and the engagement facilitator comes in. Our role as conversational intelligence facilitators is to help you shape that conversation. So this is an opportunity to get our audiences engaged at a whole new level. It's to start a conversation, to be able to give them links. I'm quite happy to share some of the links. I'll have to go find them and I'll get them to Cameron, of some of the wonderful virtual networking interactive tools that I've found. Please, can you do the same? Because I'm not the total oracle of information here. We have the opportunity to all be sharing resources so that we can help each other through this process. And then the last thing I really want you to focus on is, please don't see virtual as the poorer cousin. It really isn't. Just like we can't expect a face-to-face conference to be something that we can be showing all over the world if we don't go hybrid. Please see the virtual environment as a platform and an environment that has its own strength. And as we go forward, we're going to see that a more blended way of working with these things is going to come. So we're going to be creating a Prius. All right. We're going to be creating the Prius of conference. We're going to have the best of face-to-face interaction. We'll possibly see people being spread apart in conference rooms. We'll be seeing sets set up because people are going to be scared about getting together for a long time to come. Let's see each medium. And Justin, I want to touch on something that you said in terms of video, text, and sound. Text. I love the engagements in the chat. I think it gives us the opportunity to engage at such a deep level. So let's use all of these things. Let's come together and craft. So before, during, and after. The after is the feedback, sharing of information, the sharing of links, and the continuation of the conversation. So I think that I'm excited about this time. I think we have the opportunity to do something special. I'm going to stop talking now. I would really love now. Unfortunately, I have to put my glasses on because I'm over 50 now. So just to kind of see. So we see here agreed that the session was seamless, absolutely great. And perhaps if I can just mention one thing, USB on their site has actually put up a platform where we are starting to really load some videos from our speakers, the document that Michael was speaking about earlier. We're going to be putting more stuff up, and I really think that this is something that we can do well. And I would really encourage any questions. You're welcome to contact any one of us. We are here to help.